Welcome back, everybody, to Making Money with AI. And today, what we're going to talk about is very interesting. Is your job in danger from ChatGPT? Which jobs are going to be doing well and which jobs are going to be not doing well because of ChatGPT? So James shared an interesting infographic with me, and I want to share it here. And it's basically the labor market impact of ChatGPT. And it's basically saying that certain areas are going to be impacted more than certain other areas in the employment world. So what makes your job exposed to GPT? The jobs that are going to have low exposure, meaning that are not going to be affected, are jobs that currently have low wages, manufacturing jobs, agriculture, mining, jobs requiring low formal education, jobs requiring many hours of on-the-job training, critical thinking skills jobs, and science skills. So that's very interesting. James, why don't you share the high exposure ones?
Yeah, so this is what's really interesting because it might make sense. Okay, well, if you're just somebody that dig ditches, there's not much really that AI can do. But when look at what it is disrupting, which is scary. People that make high wages, writing, programming, information processing, work that requires a college degree, minimal on-the-job training, and routine and repetitive work. So it's interesting when you have routine and repetitive work mixed with high wages or programming, which is not necessarily routine. The point being is that sometimes people feel like, okay, if you have a college degree, you're somehow better than someone else.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of people that have college degrees that are working at what we consider menial tasks. When you look at it like this, the bottom line is the supercomputer, the AI is here. We're all, even though some people think they're smarter than the other, we're all kind of equally dumb now compared to AI.
Or equally smart.
Or equally smart. Excuse me, right? Is the glass half empty? Is the glass half full? Bottom line is we all now have this supercomputer behind us. Your graphic design degree, I'm just as good as you, if not better, with Midjourney. You need to just be aware, not necessarily to be scared, but be aware that this is happening, okay?
Right.
So that's the main thing. Just be aware of it. So you have to start thinking in different ways because the world is going to change, right? Just like when we went from agriculture to making plants or whatever. A lot of people started, not plants, physical plants, but working in like automotive and stuff like that. People started to do those jobs, and then it went kind of to a service industry. Well, now you have to be creative. You have to be able to use your mind. And you have to be a part of this channel and be aware of what's happening so that you can circumvent. What are the new things that are going to be popping up? Right now, I would think that there's a lot of potential to get jobs when people say, we want to hire people that know what's going on with AI.
Exactly.
That in and of itself, just being aware, having access to this channel and being aware of what's going on. There's these companies that are getting scared saying, we need to know what's happening. You get a guy like me or a guy like you, Dave, or someone else who's watched the channel come in and say, you know what? Maybe worth us spending a little bit of money to have ChatGPT at our workforce. Now, you've just cut a bunch of jobs out. You're the hero because you're the one that just had that simple premise. But you can use that leverage of that tool, among others, to help that company. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Not only that, but there's going to be a shift I see happening. So let's take a look at the rest of this infographic here. When we say what jobs are exposed to GPT, I think what's going to happen is the people over here that get into AI early are going to be able to out-earn the people over here who don't get into AI. Simply because, like James said, there's already billions with a B and potentially trillions soon with a T coming into AI. Well, all this move to AI is going to require new people that know AI, that understand it, that are good at it. Like one of the early things that is going to be needed is a prompt engineer. Apparently, that's going to be a big job in the future. Somebody who can determine what is the best prompt to achieve the goals that we want. Maybe the prompt engineer is that person in your office or in your business that everyone goes to and says, hey, I have this problem. I need this solution. Give me a prompt that would solve it. And they do that, or they just give them the answer, right? But there's going to be so many different opportunities coming along. So again, it's a big shift. Think of it like you're squeezing a balloon on one end, it's getting bigger on the other end. That's basically what's happening is you're seeing The balloon is being squeezed, and the jobs and everything is going to AI.
And Dave, just real quick, I wanted to mention too, think about it back in the day when HTML first came out. Now you can have things, you don't need to be an HTML whiz, but back in the day, if you were someone and during a few year period there that knew HTML, you could write your own ticket and make major money, but you didn't have to have a college degree for that. You just had to know HTML. That's where we are now. You don't need a college degree for this. Mind you, they're going to start having, I'm sure, college courses on AI. But right now is a time where you can just, if you're just part of this world and learning about it as a regular person, you are worth a lot of money right now. And that might be an exercise to do, Dave, is start going out and doing searches for companies like on Indeed that are asking for help with AI.
Right.
Because again, you don't need to have credentials. There's not the AI expert PhD program. You can just be someone's like, look, I know what time it is. I've been watching Dave and James videos here. I can help you out. And you could get a really high paying job with that.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing about HTML. Great example, James, because HTML is the code. For those that don't know, HTML is the underlying code for websites, right? And back in the day, you had to hand code a website, and therefore it costs thousands of dollars to build a website. Today, anybody can build a website on their own without knowing and needing to know HTML. But back then, the only way you could do it was knowing HTML, being a coder or a programmer, and charging tens of thousands of dollars. Then it went to hundreds of dollars as HTML became easier. HTML editors came along. Now it's like you could get a website for free, right? So the same thing is going to be happening in AI right now. When very few people know what it is, how it works, and how to make it work for a company, they're going to get paid a lot of money over time, because that, like anything, it's going to flourish. But you already have your foot in the door and be able to be one of the leaders in that. So let's take a look at what jobs, according to this infographic, what jobs are exposed. In other words, which jobs can be affected negatively. So low affected would be athletes, automotive repairers, cement masons, cooks, pile driver operators, basically people who work with their hands, right? Because GPT can't do that. Tire repairers, dishwashers, carpenter helpers, really anything where you're working with your hands, manual labor, or working physically, right? High exposure to ChatGPT, meaning these are the industries that will be affected the most, are interpreters and translators, because ChatGPT translates and interprets. Survey researchers. ChatGPT can do, in effect, something along the lines of critical thinking and analyzing data, right? Writers and authors. ChatGPT is a great writer, author. Public relations specialists, tax preparers, mathematicians, blockchain engineers, proofreaders, copy markers, and accountants and auditors. And this is just a small list. Now, what this means, though, is that even if you're in one of these industries, you need to learn ChatGPT and you need to learn AI, because rather than it taking your job away, it may improve your job. It may speed up the ability, your ability to do your work, right? For example, if I had to translate, let's say 100 pages of something from English to Spanish, and I know both, it would take me a long time to do that manually, using my brain. If I entered that into ChatGPT, it would take minutes, right? So if I'm a translator, I now offer maybe that service, and now I offer it maybe cheaper, but which means now I can do a lot more of the same service, right? So it now allows you to expand your capacity because you're using AI to do it. So
if you're with a company that has a bunch of accountants and you're someone that's using ChatGPT and now you're doing the work of 3 people, your coworkers might hate you for it because, like, dude, what's going on? You're doing 3 times the work I am. Well, guess what? When they start doing layoffs, who's going to be the one that sticks around? So you can think of it like that. Rather than taking this kind of scarcity mindset, oh, I'm going to lose my job, use the power of that, make yourself super accountant. And the other guy that's been doing it the same way for 20 years, this is how I do it. Okay. Well, all of a sudden he's going to get the shaft. It's just how it's going to go.
Yeah. And money is created based on the value given, right? So the higher value you can give, the higher service you can give, the more you're worth. And now this applies whether you're in a job or in a business, right? The more value I can give one of my clients, the more I can charge for it. Well, with AI, we can now give so much more value. We can heap value on them because it takes us minutes. It's super short. It's super quick. to do that. I'll give you an example. I'm talking to a client right now, and I offered to do 100 articles for her website. And these 100 articles are going to be SEO, search engine optimized, so that she gets much better results and traffic from the local area that she's in. Well, not only am I happy to do that, but the reason I'm happy to do that and charge good money for it is because I can use AI to get it done quickly, and then I can add some editing to it, and suddenly that work is done. Where before, it might take me, before I wouldn't offer that job because it would take me too much time.
Wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the time for me to invest to write 100 articles, handwrite them, or even pay somebody to handwrite them, right? But now AI can do it in an instant. We've all seen ChatGPT do its thing, type in a thing, it's just boom, it goes, it's done, right, in seconds. Well, imagine 100 articles, how long that would take. It would take minutes, take maybe an hour to do. But it's not just writing the articles, it's making sure that they're SEO optimized articles. And that's another thing, again, AI can do. We did a video about that recently. So the bottom line is I can give her so much more value, and it takes me so much less time. And so we've just experienced in that exchange a massive ability to make more money than we ever could before. Before, it wasn't worth my time. Now it's easily worth my time because ChatGPT is doing the work, right? And it's doing better, probably better than I could do, because it already knows, it's already programmed how to do an SEO article. It doesn't have to think about it. I have to think about it. I have to remember things like keyword density and things like that. ChatGPT automatically, boom, here it is. Perfect, ready to go. So now it's just plug and play, pop it into their website, and they start to see better results. Everybody wins, right?
So in conclusion, always look at it glass half full rather than glass half empty. How can you use the power of this to enhance yourself, to make you a quote unquote superhuman worker if you work for a company? Because guess what? Those that don't, they're going to be obsolete compared to you. So when you're on the right side of the team, you're going to crush it. And that's what this is all about. Don't get scared about the disruption. Use it to your advantage so that you're making more money.
Right. No matter whether, again, you're in a job, in a business, not in a job. Let's say you're not employed. Hey, this is an incredible opportunity to learn AI and be the AI master so that any company will want you because you have that hot new ability to give lots and lots of value to that company. So we'll hope you like this video. We've got some free gifts for you on the way out. So just go down to the description box below for your free gifts. And thanks again for joining us on Making Money with AI.